I know you're busy on TikTok or LinkedIn trying to get a job, or you're on X right now and you're trying to get rich. I get it. Thank you for stopping for a second to focus on the biggest opportunity in Web3 and AI, OpenServ, office hours. We're here today to talk about prediction agents. Tim, Ian, thank you for joining us. Tim, why don't you kick us off? Tell us what we're going to see today. What are prediction models, agents, and what's going on here?
All right. So prediction markets are basically markets where you can take two sides of a prediction, essentially. Like it's like a way to bet on like future events. So who's going to win the election? Is Trump going to say, oh, wow. Is Trump going to say, how many times is Trump going to say China in his next speech? How much is the Federal Reserve going to cut the interest rates? Like things like that. And it's really blowing up. It's one of the hottest topics in the space right now, and something we're closely following, as it is particularly applicable to agents. And not only is it a sort of like consumer tool, it's also something for agents to navigate and autonomously trade in. And yeah, we've been inspired by the N of 1 Alpha Arena trading experiment that's been going on for the past couple of weeks. That's taken over Twitter. With Elon Musk reposting. And what the founder there did is basically created, or using different models, created agents out of them and gave them the ability to live trade markets on hyperliquid. So trade markets on leverage and run it as an experiment to see how agents and models can perform in financial markets and how they can stack up to human operators. And we have basically taken inspiration from that and built our own version of it on our own system. So using OpenServ's agentic backend, which is fucking awesome. Gets me so jazzed. And we're running it initially now. We're starting with, instead of trading on hyperliquid, we're trading prediction markets, which is a whole different thing in itself, right? It's these markets resolve and end up in a binary result. You either win or you lose, which introduces an entirely different way of approaching markets, especially as a model looking to trade a specific strategy, right? Like if you're trading a 24-hour trading market like Bitcoin, it's not like an option or like a prediction market where it resolves in a binary outcome. It's trading all the time. And so far, we've had some interesting results. Some agents making money, some agents losing a shit ton of money because they put a lot of chips in one or two bets and then they resolve and they lose and then they lose their entire stack. So we're constantly, I mean, we've only started this like 5 days ago. So we set up the back end and we now have the front end hooked up, and we're going to show you what it looks like now.
Let's do it. So you're talking a big talk, Tim. Are you saying you could show me a demo of this? Like, does this actually exist, or is this some far out in the future dream that you're selling me here?
No, I'm going to show it to you right now. And this is something that a couple of our devs on the team spun up using our agent backend, created a UI for it, and put it together in 5 days over the weekend. And yeah, well, let's just go and see it.
That's insane. Ian, tell the people what you've seen behind the scenes so far while Tim's queuing this up.
Yeah, I mean, I've gotten to be in the meetings, like, as this is all kind of like being ideated on and worked on and iterated on, and it's been incredible to see like that this is possible on OpenServ, right? Like you can build this with agents can go and trade autonomously, and it also invites like so much like curiosity about like kind of where we're going and what's like the necessary, what are still like the missing puzzle pieces that agents need to actually go and be, better traders than us. I don't know if we're even that great of traders. So yeah, I think there's a lot of conversation to be had around here. So
yeah, and it's a great experiment to see, how capable are LLMs and agents, or agents are just LLMs wrapped with some API calls generally, but how capable models and agents are at trading just at a baseline. How well are they able to come up with their own strategies? How well are they able to follow the strategy you define? And So setting like a baseline and a benchmark for how capable they are off the shelf. And what we are trying to do at OpenServ is show how we can take it a next level, a step above, with all of the research and development that we've done behind the scenes for the last year, particularly around our own proprietary reasoning framework, BRRRRR, which directly addresses the problems that agents face in multiple contexts, from a voice chat to a customer service agent to trading, right? It's how well can an agent follow its instructions and reason and operate within like a bounded structure and make sure it's not deviating, not hallucinating. And I think financial markets are the perfect environment to put this to the test, like to really put this to the test and see how it stacks up. So far, we've set this all up with off-the-shelf models to set a baseline and set a benchmark. And next, we're going to be working on adding our own braid layer on top of it into the system prompts and seeing what we can squeeze out of that. Without further ado, let's just check out what we've got going on here. So the setup we have at the moment is on the back end. We posted a video about it like 3 days ago or so, showing the back end. And what we have is basically, I think 5 or 6 models. 6 models. So we have 6 models who all have the same system prompt. So we can check the prompt here, which basically defines the strategy and the rules by which they should be trading, buying and selling these different markets. And what we're running on the back end is basically every 24 hours, using Dome's API, shout out Dome, we're getting the top 5 trending sports markets that have the most liquidity and are trending the highest on Polymarket. And then once we've grabbed those, every hour we run basically an inference, and the models, the agents, basically using their strategy and the incoming data, they assess whether they take a trade, sell a trade, or stay neutral. And that basically determines what they do. And then that task, like that, the outcome of that sort of like reasoning process is then passed on to an execution agent, which then takes the trade on Polymarket. So for example, last night I posted on my own account an example of me doing that, and just myself showing a similar workflow that basically auto trades for me, and it shows up on the Polymarket interface. So here we have the different models. We have Qwen, we have DeepSeek, Grok, Gemini, GPT-5, and Claude. So far we've given them $60 each. We added $20 today. And at the moment it's super experimental, right? Like we're messing with the prompt and changing it up every day. One of the big things we've learned is that with the frequency and the sample size we have here, waiting for markets to resolve isn't really optimal, because some of the agents end up losing most of their portfolio just in one swing, right? Because they allocate to a bunch of games, and then if some of them lose, they end up with nothing. So now we've adjusted the prompt to basically take profit or sell before the market resolves, so we don't end up with any complete losers, and they're rather like the losses should ideally be minimized if they are good at following their prompts. And we can see the trades that they've taken so far. So Claude had a $12 trade, I think on the first day. GPT-5 had a few good trades. Gemini, not so well. I think Gemini was the worst of all of them. I think, yeah, this is Gemini over here. It lost most of it. Lost most of its money yesterday. And then DeepSeek, also not bad, hit a decent runner on the Jets Bengals game. And here we can see live what they currently have, so what bets they have on at the moment. So GPT-5 has a couple of bets on, the others just have one on at the moment. And we can see what is really interesting is we can see what they're thinking. So every hour, each agent is prompted to make a decision on whether they buy, sell, or stay neutral, based on their system prompt and based on the incoming data and information they're getting. And we can view what the latest, basically what their latest reasoning and thinking is. So here we can check out Gwen, and we can see that its analysis was markets or basically the decision was there's nothing worth betting on at the moment. And you can basically, I'm not going to read out the whole thing here, but we can see at the end, it autonomously decides to preserve 100% of its capital and take no action for the moment. And then the next hour, so actually in 26 minutes, it'll do that again and make a decision on whether it's going to take a trade or not. So we can, for example, let's go on. Claude, I think this might need to be updated, or unless it hasn't been 24 hours. So yeah, we can check it out in more detail, what positions it currently has live, what are the ones it's closed, and what are the latest inferences. So no action, blah, blah, blah. Here it took a trade. We can basically read the entire thinking and reasoning behind the agent's decisions, which is awesome. Like auditable logs, receipts of logic and reasoning, which is really exciting for us and really aligns with the type of research we're doing here at OpenServ. And yeah, that's pretty much what we got going on. Next, we're already underway building a hyperliquid version of this as well, so we can compare to N of 1 and also apply braid there, which I think is more applicability in a regular trading market versus probably prediction markets. But we're obviously going to keep experimenting on the prediction market side of things as well and see how we can improve baseline LLM performance there. So yeah, that's what we got going on.
That's exactly like what we need to get excited about, like seeing braid in action when it comes to trading, right? Like when it comes to like open 24/7 markets, like that's a huge opportunity. And we've seen like so many of these innovations come out in regard to agents recently, like X402 and ERC 804. I really feel like the missing puzzle piece is that like reasoning and decision-making accuracy, right? Like that is going to be kind of that third part that really like unleashes agents, right? And the fact that like kind of we're building agents on, financial markets with the, best reasoning and decision-making capabilities like on the market today is something to watch. Like this is going to be so exciting to see unfold. Like I was geeking out about it on the stand-up this morning. Like, yeah. So I don't know. I'll be watching, from my desk, like popcorn in hand. So it'll be great.
And watching it all play out in real time is amazing.
Yeah.
And super excited to get the community involved in this too. We're heading out to Oz City in about a week, which is super exciting. We're going to be running some workshops. It's going to be myself, Ian, and Sushan there in person, boots on the ground. We're going to be running some initial workshops to get builders there familiar with our tech stack. And then we're actually going to be running an agent trading competition like this, where the community can get involved. We're going to open up our own prediction markets for that trading competition, so our community can bet on the ones they like best. Each builder can present the agents they've built, the system prompt, the strategy, and then our community can bet on who they think is going to win, which is like a really exciting way to involve our top supporters in our own research that is basically at the forefront of this space, and it's going to set the foundation for a new market, basically a new space, a space of autonomous trading systems that are accessible to everyone. Right? You can do this with no code. Create your own tokenized autonomous fund. These are really, really exciting initiatives that we're pushing forward here, and just super stoked.
Amazing. And there's nobody else in the industry building this. I mean, we are the only AI orchestration tool that is connected to Web3 so deeply, and we are agnostic across any chain, any framework. So if you followed this, listen, you can do this. What Tim just showed, you could build it too. We tested 6 AI agents, the same rules, just $60. Scale that up for yourself and whatever you can do, right? What this means is, at least what I learned from the trading is you could take I would just take the small bets. All right. I would diversify across several markets and different agents, and I would automate some early exits I'm very conservative with this stuff because I do not gamble, but this was a blast to see. I can't wait to see which agent makes more money. And I want to see what our community is going to do. I want to see them making some income. And Ian brought up a great point about where Braid fits, right? Stronger reasoning means that your agents will make better decisions and they will follow your instructions better. They're not going to waste their tokens doing some nonsense. So we proved today that agents for prediction markets today work. And they learned how to manage risk. And now we're leveling up with Braid and a public competition. So join in, make sure you're following us on X, join the conversation on Telegram. We're almost at 3K. I think we just passed 15,500 people on. How do we grow 1,000 people on X over the past 72
about
hours?
700 new followers coming into it. So.
Okay. So SERV is blowing up. I think you get it. So yeah, make sure you take a look at what we're talking about, but join the conversation, join the platform.